Hello audience, in this video we're working on the touring car. Now you haven't seen this project in a while, but off camera I've been making a little bit of progress to it here and there. However, this isn't exactly it. This is it over here behind me. Well, part of the body anyway. I was making some progress on this, but long story short, a few big projects came in here and I had to just push everything aside to get them done, including this. That's pretty much done now, but now the house is starting to fall apart, so a lot of my extra time and money have been going into that. Hopefully that'll get under control, but I might have to disappear for a few months to get that done. I don't know, we'll see. However, we can still make some progress on this. I was working on the body, but right now I think I'm going to start assembling the chassis, because that needs quite a bit less, and once I assemble that, I can bolt a lot of stuff on it permanently. So we're going to do that. Now when I started on this project, I had a complete chassis for this that I bought assembled. Apparently this was some kind of project car that somebody was building and gave up on. I don't know much about it, didn't really ask. But the good news is, all the chassis parts off of this, somebody already went through the trouble to disassemble everything, sandblast it, paint it, and put it back together. Now why they chose to paint everything blue, I'm not sure, but that's where that color comes from. Now they didn't do much for rebuilding or restoring anything, but most of it's in pretty good shape. They didn't really try to build a date-coded chassis for it, but they did try to get some early looking stuff for it. For example, it's got the early radius rod that goes above the axle. That's the early style, and that's the late style. It's got the early springs with the round leaves on them, and a few other things like that. So at a glance, everything looks like it should, which is more or less the idea I have in mind for putting this together. I don't plan on this being in any fine shows or anything like that, but I do want it to look reasonably authentic from the outside. So the good news is, the vast majority of what you got to go through to rebuild this stuff, pretty much taking it apart and repairing all the damage, we don't really have to do. I'm pretty much just taking this apart so we can paint it and put it back together. Not only do they paint everything, but the springs, they even put a layer of grease on all the leaves like I normally do. In fact, if they only painted it the right color, I wouldn't do anything to that. Also, I've driven this thing quite a bit, and the front end doesn't have any real problems. It doesn't lean to either side, it doesn't pull to either side. The front wheels don't have that intermittent wobble like they normally do, so everything probably is in pretty good shape. So I'm not going to adjust very much of anything. The front axle itself, it looks pretty straight. It might have just a little bit of bend to it, or maybe it's just made that way. I'm not sure, but like I said, it was running fine, so I'm not going to adjust anything. I'm just going to leave it as is. Now, like I said, I don't know much of anything about what went on when they built this thing, but it's got a few strange things to it. Like, somebody bought brand new kingpins for it. Yeah, you can still see the machine marks on them. And left the old bushings in. They put brand new bushings on the perches and the spring, and used old worn out shackles. And they even bought a new pitman arm for it. None of it's really a problem, it's just somebody had to take all this apart and go through it and finish everything up. So I decided this wasn't really worth making a video about, because, yeah, all I'm doing is repainting it, buy a few parts, and then just put it together. But anyway, that's what's going on with the front end. And this is the differential out of it. At a glance, it doesn't look correct for 1913 because it isn't. At first, I wasn't going to use it, but for now, we're just going to use it anyway. Now, these are a pair of 1314 rear axle housings that I planned on using for this. And as you can tell, even at a glance, they're quite different. These tubes actually have some taper to them and they flare out. They got the rivets around here. I think this casting is completely different. They look really different. You can spot it a mile away pretty much. And you can't easily convert a later one to look like these either. And in addition to that, this is really visible on the car when it's done. The body stops about here. If it's a runabout, it has a little bit of overhang, but you can still see it. The license plate will hide a little bit of it, but there's no bumper, there's no rear apron. This is essentially the back of the car. So if aesthetically it matters to you, you need to decide that before rebuilding this. And you probably figured I decided it matters to me because I bought these. Now, I've been acquiring parts for this. I plan to put this together and rebuild it and use this. However, I don't have everything I need for it, and these are not in the best shape. I think this one's got a few broken rivets on it, and nothing serious, but it needs a little more work than I want to do right now, and it's going to hold up the rest of the project. Meanwhile, I have this one. It's complete. It's like everything else been sandblasted and painted. Presumably it's in pretty good shape internally, so I'm going to go through this, get everything more or less to specifications, and just use it for now. And maybe someday I'll go back to the other one, put that together whenever I can, and then swap them out. And then I'll have an extra rear axle, which is better to have too many laying around than not enough. Now you may be wondering, I already have all the parts here. Why don't I just part this one out to put that one together, or just use the early housings on this? Well, because this one appears to be all original. All the housings presumably were assembled to each other when new. Everything matches itself, so I don't think this is pieced together, and that's important to me. Now, I don't know about Model Ts, but I know definitely with Model A rear axles, the ring and pinion clearance, the bearing preload, all that was actually machined into the housings when they assembled them. So each one is kind of unique to itself. On those, usually if you rebuild an all-original one, typically you can just replace the bearings, put gaskets where they should be, and the ring and pinion clearance is usually right where it should be or pretty close to it. Whereas if you piece one together, usually it's all over the place and it takes days of messing with shims to get it just right. And I presume Model T differentials are the same way, because in the Ford repair manual, it's got step-by-step instructions for these, and it doesn't say anything about playing with shims or anything. It just says if the thrust washers are worn out, replace them. There's no different size ones, you just put them in and that's it. So theoretically all the clearance is already built into it. So point being, if I have one of these that's all original, I'd rather keep it that way. You may notice I've installed a set of AC brakes on this. In fact, I did that around the time I replaced the seals on it. And I didn't tell you about it because I figured you're all going to ask how well do they work. And I never really put together a good linkage system for them. I had something set up for them and they kind of sort of worked, but I never really gave them a fair fight. So I'm probably going to keep using them, only I'll have a better linkage system for it and we'll see how they work then. Some time ago I made a video where I replaced the wheel bearings on this because the old ones were loose and installed these modern neoprene seals. Now somebody mentioned in the comments that I didn't bother to say whether or not that actually worked. Fair enough, that was my fault. Well, they did work. This doesn't have any play in it anymore, and these do seal around here. Around the outside, not so much. They just have an O-ring in them, and both sides leaked pretty bad. So I took these back off, cleaned them up, put some Permatex around them, hammered them back in, and that fixed it. And they've been working ever since. The spring is an early one, like the front. As you can see, it's got the round leaves. And they're kind of wonky, doesn't really sit very well. I have a better one that I might use, I don't know, haven't decided yet. Now, with these, I don't know what the game is, but sometimes they're under tension and you need a spring spreader to remove them. This one doesn't seem to be. So I'm just going to try removing it. This is a bit off topic, but I'll mention this anyway. If you have a Model A and you're trying to remove the rear spring, you don't even want to think about trying it unless you have an actual spring spreader, because those are under a massive amount of tension, and if you just yank one shackle off like I did, they will spring back and they'll cut through or break through anything that gets in their way. Yeah, that's no joking matter. You really want to take those seriously. Well, it looks like somebody's been working on this in the past, as this has 5 studs and 1 bolt. I was wrong. 4 studs and 2 bolts. And now it's time to open it up and see what we have. Now, do you want to see me undo each one of these bolts? Yeah, I didn't think so. And actually, everything's a little better than I thought it would be. Gear looks okay. Now, these were not pinned, and one of them's missing a nut. However, it seemed to have been working that way. It appears to still have the original Babbitt thrust washers, or presumably originals. Everything looks okay. May not have to take everything apart and mic everything to see just what it is, but at a glance, nothing looks too bad. Correction, it did have a nut on it. It just rattled loose. Now, why didn't this thing get tangled around and get jammed in the gears like the loose parts normally do? I have no idea. Another little interesting thing, this rivet has been peened over on one side but not the other. Normally when they do this they fly out and get jammed inside the torque tube, and why that didn't happen while I was driving I have no idea. Oh boy, that's got a bit of wear to it. Okay, that came off a little too easy. Remember all that rubbish I said about keeping all this intact so I don't have to spend days fussing with shims? Well, what I didn't mention is if you take this apart and you find out everything's broken and worn out and you have to replace everything, that rule doesn't apply anymore. But none of that really matters at this point because this thing doesn't seem to be as original as I thought it was. Now, when I looked at it from the outside, everything looks like it was built around 1915. All the housings and the radius rods and everything, they kind of match that. However, this assembly here, for that time, would have been held together with studs that are threaded into this side. This one is held together with bolts that go all the way through it. And that happened around 1921, somewhere in there. So this part, or likely this whole thing, is out of a later differential. Not really a problem, they do interchange, but that means this is not all original. And it's got mismatched hardware, it's got some homemade shims somebody added to it. This thing's been messed with quite a bit. It's probably just been built up from parts like Model Ts usually are. So my excuse of saving it doesn't really exist now. However, most everything we found in this thing is in pretty good shape. I still have to take it further apart and measure the bearings and all that to see what can be saved, but we're off to a good start here for building a good differential. I don't know if I'm going to stick with the plan. I'm going to rethink this, but whatever I do, I'm going to need some parts, so I'm going to order those, figure out what to do in the meantime, and then we'll get back to all this then. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe.